What if there's no hidden meaning behind your life? No destiny, no divine plan, no cosmic script quietly guiding your steps? What if there's no meant to be, only what you do and what you avoid? By the end of this episode, you'll understand why Jean-Paul Sartre believed that freedom isn't a gift. It's not a blessing. It's not comforting. It's a sentence. And why most people don't fail at life, they flee from it. Sartre wasn't trying to build a neat philosophical system. He was trying to wake people up. He lived in a world where God was dying as a shared belief, empires were collapsing, ideologies promised salvation and delivered mass graves. Ordinary people excused atrocities by saying, "I had no choice." Sartre looked at all of this and said, "No, you always had a choice, you just didn't want to own it." He didn't write philosophy to sound clever, he wrote it to strip away excuses. That's why he wrote novels and plays alongside dense philosophy, because ideas don't live in books, they live in decisions, fear, relationships, cowardice and courage. Sartre didn't want followers, he wanted adults. This is the cornerstone of Sartre's thought, that existence comes before essence, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Objects are made with a purpose before they exist. A hammer is designed to hammer, a knife is designed to cut, but humans, we arrive unfinished. Sartre says there is no blueprint called human nature waiting for you to discover it. You exist first, you choose later, and those choices become your existence. You don't discover who you are, you commit to who you are through action. Every time you act, you are voting for a version of yourself, and every time you don't act, you're voting too. There is no neutral position. Man is condemned to be free. This is Sartre at his most uncomfortable and his most honest. Freedom doesn't ask for your permission. You are free, even when you obey, even when you conform, even when you surrender, and even when you claim you're trapped. Because you are always choosing how to respond. And that's the curse. You can't hand responsibility upward because there is no God. You can't hand it sideways because society doesn't pull the trigger for you. You can't hand it backwards because your past doesn't decide your next move. Sartre says freedom is inescapable. And because it's inescapable, it's terrifying. Most people don't rebel against freedom, they disguise it. Sartre called this mauvaise foi, bad faith. Bad faith is psychological self-defense. It's when you pretend you're a role, a label, a function, a victim of circumstance. I'm just a manager, I'm just a parent, I'm just wired this way, I had no real option. Bad faith is pretending you're a thing, not a chooser. And the danger? You start living as if your life is happening to you instead of through you. That's not ignorance, that's avoidance. Sartre never promised peace of mind, he promised lucidity. Once you accept freedom fully, three emotional realities emerge. One is anguish, not fear, but the awareness that your actions matter absolutely, that you are setting an example whether you like it or not. And then forlornness, the realization that there is no higher authority to validate your choices, no final reassurance, no external moral safety net. And then despair, not hopelessness, but clarity without limits. You can only act with what's within your control, and that's all you're responsible for. Paradoxically, Sartre believed this was liberating, because dignity doesn't come from certainty, it comes from ownership. He once said, "Hell is other people." This line is quoted endlessly, and understood almost never. Sartre didn't mean people are awful, he meant this. When someone looks at you, they can reduce you to an object, a reputation, a role, a past version of yourself. And if you accept that gaze, if you let their perception define you, you freeze. Hell isn't conflict, hell is identity captivity. Freedom requires resisting the temptation to become what others expect. So why does Sartre still matter now? Well, Sartre wrote in the shadow of war. We live in the shadow of distraction. But the problem is the same. People outsource responsibility today to algorithms, diagnoses, politics, trauma narratives, motivation culture. Sartre would say you are not broken, you are avoiding authorship. Meaning doesn't arrive, it's constructed, slowly, painfully, deliberately, and no one can do it for you. Sartre doesn't offer hope in the traditional sense. He offers truth without anesthesia. You are free, you are responsible, you are unfinished. And whether that feels like a burden or a privilege depends entirely on what you choose to do next.